Hello everyone, this is Brian and I welcome you to my first video in the pre-calculus section of this channel. So the other day I was visiting these examples from my pre-calculus book and I realized how important it is for students, for those in engineering and physics and other areas as well, to understand some of these basic concepts. As you move on to calculus 2 and 3 and calculus 1 of course, you will realize that most of the mistakes are not in the calculus itself but in the algebra. So I believe it's really important to understand the simple stuff behind this. It's simply a concept which we must be familiar with. Okay, so with that being said, let's get started. So our first exercise will be A. Okay, so we got 2 to the negative 3. So I want you to look at the formulas that we got here. And if you look closely and analyze, you will see this one here is really familiar to this problem. And this may seem simple to you, but as you do more complicated problems, if you do not understand the basic stuff, you will not be able to do the more challenging problems. Okay? So now obviously this will transform to 1 over 2 to the third power, right? And this will be equal to 1 over 8. Okay? Pretty simple and straightforward. Okay, so let's continue. So B, let's go by alphabetical order, I guess. So now we have 1 over 5 to the negative 2. Okay, so now we will do the same process, but instead of treating this as a fraction, do not complicate yourself. This is simply a number, just like we did with these two here. And what do I mean? Well, this is the same as 1 over 1/5 to the second power. Do you see what I mean? We simply did the same as here, and we treated 1 over 5th as a whole number. So these will become 1 over 1 over 25. And if you recall from algebra, when you divide a number or two fractions, you can simply approach this by treating, let's see, okay, yeah, so you can simply multiply. Let me use an x as a multiplication sign. You multiply 1 times the inverse or the reciprocal of 1 over 25. So that will be 25 over 1. Okay? So obviously that will be equal to 25. There you go. Okay, so let's see what else I got here. Let's move on to C. So now we got the following problem. x to the fifth. Now 5 is looking bad. Alright, so to the times y to the negative 2. Okay? Over x to the third power times y. Okay? Great. So here we can simply split this fraction since we are multiplying. So we can rewrite this. This will make it easier for us as x to the fifth power over x to the third power times, or x, just like before, so you don't get confused, times y negative 2 over y. Okay? So, again, looking at the formulas here, which one of these do you think we can use in order to solve this? Well, look closely at this one. You see that? A to the m over a to the n. Do you see the same pattern here? Yes. Right there. And the same here. The only difference is you got a negative 2 here. But this will simply transform to x to the 5 minus 3 times y. Now you're simply subtracting this negative 1 here, which will go up. This negative 1 will go up. Well, actually, remember, this, if it's down here, it is simply a 1. But when it goes up, it becomes a negative 1 by this rule here. Remember, I'll show you this one, not this one. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what's going on here. Alright, so you're multiplying times y to the minus 2 minus 1. Okay, so that becomes what? Well, it simply becomes x to the second power times y to the negative 3, right? Because you are subtracting negative 2 minus 1, so that will give you that. And now, to further simplify this, well, x squared, it can stay like that. But we can do something with this y to the negative 3. Look closely here. And the same, this one is really important, this particular formula. So if we got this y to the negative 3, look what we can do. You see that there? 1 over a to the n. So that means that we can rewrite this as 1 over y to the third power. Right? Pretty simple. And as we multiply, our solution will be x squared over y to the third power. Can't get any easier than that. So that will be our answer. Okay, so now let's split here and let's keep working on this side. let's work with D now. Let's see what else I got here. This one will be fun. Okay, so we have x to the negative 3 over 3 y to the negative 1, and all of that to the second power. Okay, so these we can rewrite as x to the third power to the negative 2 over the bottom part, which is 3y to the negative 1 to the negative 2 as well. Okay? Now, let's see what we can do here. Well, I want you to take a closer look at this formula and also at this one here. Seems like we can do something with any of those, right? Especially this one here. Yep, seems so. So, rewriting this, we can simply rewrite that x to the negative 3 as, well, we can, as you can see here, we can multiply the m term by the n. So m in this case will be the negative 3, and this will be our n, is negative 2. So as you multiply two negative numbers, that the outcome will be a positive number. So that will be 6 in this case. There you go. X to the 6th power over. Here you have to do the same process, but you have a coefficient in front of this term here. So this will be, you have to first do something with the 3. You have to multiply that 3 by the negative 2, and then you have to do the other part, which will be the y. Okay, so then we can put the y, and if you multiply this negative 1 by that negative 2, you obviously will get 2. That's your choice. See that? Great. So now let's see. So x over 6, it can stay like that. Now this part here, 3 to the negative 2, recall from here. Let me erase all of this because I have too much stuff there. Recall from here. Do you see anything we can do? Yes, because you got 3 to the negative 2, 8 to the negative n, right? Same pattern. So this will simply be 1 over 3 to the second power times, let me use my multiplication symbol, 1 over 3 squared times y squared. You see what we did there, right? There you go. Perfect. So To further simplify this, we can rewrite it as x to the 6 over 1 over 9 times y squared. Okay, so for the final solution, remember what we did before here in this part. Now we have to multiply by the reciprocal in order to the reciprocal of this fraction here in order to obtain a successful outcome. So what we're gonna do is simply multiply x to the 6 times 9 over y squared. Okay, looks kind of weird. Okay, so what will be the answer? Well, it is simply 9x to the 6 and something around 9 over y squared, right? There you go. So this is the final solution. This is how you can just simply do piece by piece and not go crazy, simply by following these simple formulas and understanding how to manage the fractions. The fractions can be a little bit tricky if you do not understand the concepts behind them. Okay, so I'm sorry if this is a little bit messy. I'm just waiting for my new digital pens. Alright, so let's continue with some exercises. Let's say that we have 3 to the negative 2 and all of that to the negative 1. Well, remember what we did before here? We can simply do the same here. Negative 2 and negative 1, you have to multiply these two. So this will be equal to 3. Negative 2 times negative 1, that is simply 2. And of course this is simply equal to 9. There you go. As simple as that. It's just using the formulas. Okay, so let's do another one. Now we got ax to the cube and all of that to the second power. So here is the same concept, but you have an a in the coefficient. So you have to do something with that a as well, because these two here, it is saying to you that this 8 is also squared. So it's not only about this term here, but it's also about that 8 here. So this will become 64, right? Because a squared is 64. And now multiplying these two will be 64x to the 6, right? As easy as that. So let's see what else we got. Let's do a little bit more of a challenging one. Now we got 3x to the minus 1 over 4y to the negative 1, and all of that to the negative 2. So right from the start, perhaps you have an idea on how to approach this. But if you recall from our previous exercises, it is the same as we did with the one we had in the coefficient here. It is the same stuff. This is a little bit different, but it's basically the same concept. So we have to, let's start from on the top. Okay, so it will be 3 and the coefficient outside. 3, and you got that -2 there. Now you're multiplying times. Well, now you have to do something with the x, right? X minus 1, and that minus 1 is also being squared to the -2. And now we have to do the same in the bottom. So that 4 is also being affected by the exponential. So 4 to the -2 times what? Well, the same. Y to the -1, and that -1 is being also affected by the exponential. So how can you simplify this? Well, remember, this part here, again, is the same stuff. A to the -n. So how can we represent that? Well, 1 over 3 squared. And you all know that would be 1 to the 9, right? Well, let's just leave it like that for simplicity, so that you guys are able to understand. And this will be x squared. Okay? Because remember, -1 times -2, that will give you 2. That's why we have these two here, positive. Okay? Over, all of that will be over. Now we do the same with this 4 to the -2 as we did with 1 over 3. And obviously that will be 1 over 4 to the second power times y to the second power, right? So all of that will simplify to 1 over 9 x squared, and this is what? 1 over 16 y squared, right? Yeah, perfect. Let me check if everything is good. Okay, so now we'll simplify this a little bit better. 9 over y squared over 16, right? And if you remember, now we have two fractions, one fraction dividing the other. So what can you do? Well, same as we did before. You multiply the one in the top by the reciprocal. Oh, this looks a little bit messy. You multiply that by the reciprocal of the other one, which will be 16 over y squared, right? So what is the solution? Well, it will be 16x squared over 9y squared. Boom, there you go. I want to make sure that I cover as much as possible in this video. So this one is, again, the same idea. We got now 3 to the negative 6 times 3 to the 4th, and parentheses, of course. So how can we evaluate that? Again, using the same formulas as we did before. Take a look at this one. See that? Same pattern with the 3 to the negative 6. So what can we do? Well, this will simply be equal to 1 over 3 to the 6, right? 6 is horrendous. Okay, that's better. Times 3 to the 4th. So, what is 3 to the 6th power? If I recall, that should be 729. Okay, you can use the calculator just to verify that result. And let's evaluate that 3 to the 4th as well. That should be 81. So our answer should be 81 over 729. Okay, so it's simple stuff. You can divide that by 9, both of them, and you should get 9 over 81. And if you further simplify, obviously that will become, let's see, 1 over 9. And that is your result. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, so let's do this one here. Well, here we can use the same approach as in this formula. Remember this one here? Take a look at it. See that? The M and the N is the same stuff going on here. So you can simply multiply that x to the negative 1 times 3. So it will become x to the negative 3, right? When you multiply negative 1 times 3. And then you have y to the 3rd power. Because remember, everything inside the parentheses, it will multiply. It will be affected by that particular exponent. That's what I meant. Okay, so what is x to the negative 3? Well, that is simply 1 to the, well, 1 over x to the 3rd power. Okay, times y to the 3rd power. As simple as that. Okay, let's do another one here. What is 4 to the negative 2 times 4 to the 3rd power? Again, same principle. That will be equal to 1 over 4 to the 2nd power times, what is 4 to the 3rd power? Well, that's simply 64. Okay, so you got 1 over 16 times 64. So 64 over 16. Perhaps we can simplify that with a calculator. Yeah, so that will be simply 4. Okay, so yeah, that's another one done. Let me use this side of the board here so that we don't have to erase all of that again. So let's do the last one. I may be able to do another video in case you guys need any further assistance. Okay, so let's do the last one. We have negative 4x squared to the negative 1. Well, just like we did before, remember that when we have a coefficient here, we have to do that 1 first. So it will be negative 4 times, well not times, let's do this, to the negative 1 power, times that x squared times the negative 1, right? So this will be what? Well, negative 4 to the negative 1, that is recall. And recall this sign here, it's really important. You can't miss it. 1 over 4, right? Times, let's see, well, x to the second power times negative 1, that is simply x to the negative, this thing is having some trouble, x to the negative 2, right? So what is the result? Well, negative 1 over 4 times x to the negative 2, remember the formula, same process, that will be equal to 1 over x squared. Okay, so what is the result? Well, when you multiply those two, you will get 1 over 4. This thing is a little bit rotated. Let me make it straight. One over 4, remember the negative sign that we have here, times 1 over x squared, right? So that is, let me simplify it a little bit more, it will be 1 over 4x squared. And that is our answer. Let me fix this a little bit. Perfect. So yeah, this is basically the samples that I wanted to show you guys. I may be doing another one just in case that I have some other samples to go over with, and yeah, that should be it. So thank you guys for your time, and I hope this video lecture helped you to reinforce your concept about the law of exponents. Okay, so I will see you soon.